We are fresh off the heels of WrestleMania 41, and man, what a stinker. I mean, seriously, aside from a few moments, this was not a good show, but we sort of knew that going in. You know, I made a whole video trashing the builds for every Mania match, but at the end of my video, I said something very important. You know, WWE usually enters a little lull period after Mania, but I hope this year is different. I hope they stop taking things for granted and really step on the gas, because the truth is, we deserve better than this. Well, would you look at that? Looks like old Beaner Bronco Buster was right again. Joking aside, this was awesome, and it's exactly the sort of thing I wanted to see WWE do after a horrible build to WrestleMania. The pieces are now all set up. All WWE needs to do now is execute, and I think we could be looking at one of the best storylines of all time. Let's talk about it.
Oh, and by the way, Beaner Bronco Buster?
Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from?
Improv.
That was wonderful.
The Raw after WrestleMania was amazing. I could talk about all the cool things that happened on the show, but none of it really matters in comparison to what closed the show. After CM Punk and Roman Reigns both tried attacking Seth Rollins, we saw Bron Breakker emerge, spear the hell out of Roman, and align himself with Rollins and Heyman. This is so cool for so many reasons. First being, fans have been saying Bron Breakker was the perfect Paul Heyman guy for years now, and now we are finally going to get to see that. Secondly, it is seemingly the beginning of a new faction, and say what you want about Triple H's booking, I know I have, but one thing he seems to always be good at is booking factions. Now, all those positives out of the way, and I want to raise my first concern. I don't know if I want to see another faction. You know, I've seen a lot of people online fantasy booking all sorts of wrestlers, from Becky Lynch to Fraxium, joining this new group, and I just don't really want to see that. You know, maybe that's not the right way to say what I'm thinking. I think all that would be super cool, but I would just prefer if this group stays Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, and Paul Heyman. You know, I know people are calling this Evolution 2.0, and I even tweeted right when it happened that this would be Triple H Batista 2.0, but the more I think about it, the more I don't love that idea. Again, I want to reiterate, if this group adds Becky Lynch, Nathan Fraser, and Axiom, or someone like Trick Williams, I will think that's super cool, you know, I won't complain. But right now, I want the story to focus solely on Rollins, Bron Breakker, and Paul Heyman. I just think we can 100% do the whole Triple H Batista build without getting others involved, and the story will be just as good. I feel like adding other members could potentially water everything down. Now, you could argue that this is an opportunity to elevate other wrestlers by putting them next to prominent names like Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, and I wouldn't argue against that. But right now, I think the number one priority needs to be making Bron Breakker the next big thing, and WWE accomplishes that by focusing on him alone. This is almost impossible to mess up. Bron Breakker is already insanely over. In fact, he's almost too over. You know, he will never come out and not have fans barking and cheering for him, but that's honestly okay. In today's wrestling environment, it's almost impossible to have real heels. I mean, guys like Gunther still get cheered because fans just appreciate how good they are. Bron Breakker is now going to go through sort of the same thing. And that's why I called this one of the most important storylines in WWE. The second all of this happened, I could see WWE's vision for the next year. Rollins will take the title off Jey Uso. Rollins will defend the title for months with the help of Bron Breakker by his side. Bron will eventually realize that he's being used and turn on Rollins, win the Royal Rumble or something, and then take the title off of him. You know, it's so simple, but so perfect. Like, wrestling's really not that hard, and seeing WWE set up something super cool this easily honestly just makes me more angry at the build for WrestleMania that we got. It's a story we've seen so many times. Triple H Batista, Bayley Io Sky, MJF Wardlow, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso or Sami Zayn. It is a bulletproof formula and one of the staples of storytelling in professional wrestling. WWE needs this right now because the top of the card is starting to look like a retirement home. You know, don't get me wrong, I love CM Punk, I love John Cena, and I love Randy Orton, but we desperately needed fresh blood. WWE is filled with so many young stars just waiting to be unleashed, and the first name on that list is rightfully Bron Breakker. You know, this is the kind of catapult that takes careers from promising to certainties. You know, we all knew Bron Breakker was a future world champion, but did we really? I mean, is anything ever a sure thing in WWE? The truth is no. But now, with Bron Breakker side by side with Seth Rollins and backed by Paul Heyman, he is as close to a sure thing as we ever see in professional wrestling. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super optimistic. WWE is literally an abusive ex because no matter how many times they screw me over, all it takes is a little smile, a little wink, a little Bron Breakker, and I'm ready to have my heart broken all over again. Alright, so that's the video, but real quick, I just wanted to give my thoughts on WrestleMania 41. 1 to 10, I'd have to give it a solid 3.5, maybe a 4. I mean, it was just not very good. Night 1 was absolutely atrocious, you know. I joked about this Mania being a crown jewel, but it turns out that that was not a joke at all. You know, thank God for the main event, because without it, this would have been one of the worst shows of all time, and I really don't think I'm over-exaggerating. But then we had night 2, and we kicked things off with Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair in one of the matches of the year so far. So we are already immediately off to a fantastic start. You know, Io Sky is just the best wrestler in the world. It's no secret, she's my favorite. So seeing her wrestle was automatically going to make night 2 way better than night 1. The rest of the show was pretty great as well. I mean, really no complaints from me. I hate Joe Hendry, but the match didn't overstay its welcome, so it was really fine. You know, I didn't really have any complaints. You know, even the main event wasn't horrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't good, but some people are acting like it was one of the worst matches of all time, and I thought it was fine. But you really gotta understand, I have been well aware John Cena is fully a nostalgia act for a while now, and it seems like other people are just now catching up on that. Anyways, like I said earlier, the show kinda sucked, but Raw already made me forget about it, and I'm just super excited for the future. But what do you think? What did you think about WrestleMania? Do you want to see more people join Seth Rollins' new faction? Let me know.
Bobby, 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 Bobby.
Come on, just do it, pussy. What?